Now, moving on, as we do every Wednesday, kind courtesy of EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, we're coming your way with AM Business. And what are we bringing your way today? We're exploring the aviation sector as some private investors want government to include them in plans to start the new Ghana airline this year. There's been a lot of talk about it. What is the way to go? AM Business up next.
Aviation is crucial to international business, trade, and tourism. Ghana's aviation industry has more than 20 aviation operators and includes those employed in the servicing of aircraft, management of airports, air traffic control operators, ground handlers, airport security, and immigration, as well as customs. The Minister for Transport, Kweku Ofori-Siama, announced that Ghana Airlines will start operations this year. But CEO of McDan Group of Companies, Daniel Macaulay, is asking for more engagement to ensure a robust aviation sector.
The whole world is turning into. The past year, 2022, had been a serious struggling year. And we saw things that we have never seen before in this country. We have seen too many things happen in terms of business, and I feel that the politicians did their best. The government did what they had to do. Right now, the selected private sector with voice must have some voice, with ideas. I'm a private sector driven person, and anything in the private sector works. I mean, the world is moving on, and Ghana. I'm one of the few people who think Ghana is still a socialist country, yet we are using capitalist law to govern this country. So if you are a socialist country, you have to support such businesses, but it's difficult. So if we have to move to capitalism, such initiative must be headed by the private sector. If you're a private sector, very good private sector person want to start a Ghana Airways, a national airline, it will be very successful.
Managing Director for TAG Angola, Diane Chun, is asking for government to engage the private sector.
The ups and downs that you're talking about might be what? Sort of like fuel costs, yeah. It's like all industries, we are struggling with the rising cost of living. As you know, oil and gas prices have gone up, supplier prices have gone up, and what we need to do is make sure that our services are as efficient as possible, so our onboard product is efficient, and that way we're not passing on too many of these costs to the customer. I don't think the aviation sector is alone in that. I think all sectors are struggling with the cost of living crisis at the moment. What we're trying to do is to make efficiencies within our airlines so that we don't have to pass those costs on. Accra is an important market. Well, the whole of West Africa is very important to TAG. TAG is expanding throughout Africa, and we've got an eye very much on Ghana. Ghana is, we have very good relationships, very good diplomatic relationships with Ghana. What we want to do is improve those economic relationships as well. So for us, Ghana also, we see this as very much a gateway into Africa, because Ghana is a very popular place at the moment for conventions and events. So inbound tourism, inbound conventions, inbound conferences. So together we think our two countries can work very, very well together. We want to build those economic ties.
Ghana's airline is expected to operate as the country's national carrier following the decision to award Ashanti Airlines and its operational and financial partner, Zotus Group, a tender to commence business.
It depends on the market that you're in. So private sector ownership works very, very well in some places. It doesn't work as well in other places. Public sector ownership has its challenges also in terms of what we would call a legacy carrier that has maybe a lot of old policies and processes that haven't been changed in years because it's more difficult to do so. Whereas I think a private sector airline is potentially more able to react more.
Aviation will not reach pre-pandemic profitability levels of $26.4 billion anytime soon because we don't really see the gross domestic product growth accelerating. But according to the International Air Transport Association's chief economist, Marie Thompson, the industry will start seeing earnings in 2023.
The Ghana Airlines long-haul fleet could comprise Boeing 787 Dreamliners alongside Dash 8400 aircraft servicing its regional and domestic routes. Now, global airlines, according to the International Air Transport Association, are now expected to post a 9.7 billion loss in 2022, an improvement from a revised 42.1 billion loss in 2021. The 2022 forecast was nearly 2 billion better than an earlier expectation of an 11.6 billion loss.
However, Daniel Macaulay is lamenting the ineffectiveness of local content framework for Ghanaian businesses. According to him, a strong content base for businesses will create employment and promote growth of various sectors of Ghana's economy.
Well, you see, we have had a very weak local content laws and local content spirit. For me, if you look at, we can go the Nigerian way. You see, you go to Nigeria, local content is very strong. And it's also about time local businessmen supposed to have a big say in policy. And it looked like the whole business community is sitting back, watching on to the politicians and government to take decisions for us. I believe that it's also about time we support government. We support government with our resources and our ideas. So for me, we have to strengthen the local content base. I want to see solutions. We don't have to come and deliberate on problems. Immediately we meet like this, we should be having solutions. There's no need for us to come and sit down and talk about problems. We've gone past talking about problems. We, the businessmen in this country, must be solution-oriented, minded, so that we support government, we take government to somewhere. I mean, Ghana is for all of us. And whatever we do will have a serious impact on our own self. If we are here today and we don't do some of these things, posterity will judge us. So I believe that in our quest, trying to be big in business, we have to do to extend hands to help the poor. When I mean the poor, the vulnerable in the society. I always say I've never seen any nation built very resiliently if it is not the big boys. You need the big businesses to build a nation for SMEs to tap in. So immediately the big businesses start growing up, you'll get millions, thousands of SMEs just tapping in. It's like the supply chain. You move, you bring people along. Look, the whole Japan was built by 5 companies. Talking about Nissan, Toyota, Sony, you know the other 2. Ghana can be built by 3, 4 companies, and we'll be able to stand strong. So SME is the engine of growth in every country. Every economy, SME is the engine of growth, but you need the big boys. You need the big businesses so that the SMEs can tap into.
In November 2019, the Ghanaian government signed a provisional order at the Dubai Air Show to acquire 3 Boeing 787 Dreamliners. Ghana's airspace has been without a national airline for 13 years following the collapse of former national airlines Ghana Airways, which occurred in 2004, and Ghana International Airlines, which followed 6 years later in 2020.